Virginia, I remember I took the family driving from Rochester down to like, I think it was Atlanta. And I remember Virginia just being absolutely beautiful as far as
it is. We have a nice range of things here. We get all the seasons, and we got some mountains, and we got some water. You know, we got kind of a lot of good stuff in Virginia. So.
And very green, if I remember correctly.
Yes, but I'm sure New Zealand is prettier because
it's pretty green here. Yeah, it does get green.
Lord of the Rings, you know, like everybody else did, and was inspired to move to New Zealand, but I didn't, and you did, so you win.
Exactly. So you've got a new album coming out.
I do.
It's very exciting. It's called The Southwest and Other Dreams, and of course you're in the
sky.
What's that?
The Southwest Sky and Other Dreams.
Oh, sorry, I miswrote it. Southwest Sky and Other Dreams. Thank you for that. And of course, you're in the Northeast, which is the opposite of the Southwest. So, what's your fascination with the Southwest?
Oh, it is fascinating. You know, I've spent a little time down there. I visited out in San Diego and out toward Joshua Tree a number of years ago with a now ex-boyfriend, and we had some really fun adventures down there and toward Pioneer Town. And then I've driven through Texas with my guitarist a number of times. We've driven from Austin out to Santa Fe, and it's just so fascinatingly different than the landscape and the feel that we have here on the East Coast. It's wild to me how it's like another country.
Well, it pretty much is. Yes, that's true. I've been to Austin a few times, and I love it down there because there's all that live music and stuff happening.
Sure. They've got it going on in Austin.
But I'm mostly an East Coast kind of guy. Yeah. So the songs that make up the album, were they written when you were traveling through that area, or are they relatively newer than that?
So some of them I wrote some notes while I was down there. I don't know that I wrote any full songs while I was there, but I, especially on the tours that we were on, I would scribble some things in my notebook or in my phone and, you know, just try to pick up a little bit of that mystery that I found down there. And then when I got back, I started collecting these songs for this new record, and we started to see some themes, you know, between the two Southwest inspirations, these characters and these plots that take place down there, but also this dreaming of being somewhere else, this dreaming of something different than what you have. So.
And are there actual dreams that you've had that are inspiring these songs, or is it more of a existential kind of thing?
More of a daydream. I'm a daydreamer myself. More than a night. I can sleep on a song though. If I'm writing a song, I can take a good nap.
Right.
And I can be thinking of it when I start, you know, and then I snooze out for an hour and I wake up with some better ideas than maybe I had when I started. So maybe some real dreams too. I don't know, but mostly daydreams.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in the nap, especially as I get older and we're all locked down and stuff. So, you know, it's like, buddy, tired? You take a nap.
It's critical, yes, to well-being, right? I don't understand. I've not worked a 9-to-5 for a long time, but I don't know how you work a 9-to-5. When do you take your nap?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
Surreptitiously.
Right.
Anyway, so, and your producer is a gentleman by the name of E.P. Jackson, is that right?
That is true. He and I co-produced it.
And how did that work? What roles did each of you take when you were making the record?
So Jackson is my fiance and the dad of 2 of my kids. So, you know, we have a lot of time.
each other pretty well.
We know each other pretty well. We had a lot of time to talk about the songs and, you know, my first 2 records. So this is our 5th record.
Right.
And my first 2 records, we recorded really live in the studio. And there's some glamour or magic you like to think about recording live in the studio. You know, it's like you capture the energy or you get the vibe or whatever, you know, sort of magical words we use to think about recording live in the studio. But when I listen back to those records, I hear a lot of things that I would have changed. You know, the songs maybe weren't fully, you know, worked out when we recorded them, and they've become different now that we play them live all the time. And so this was really our biggest attempt at sitting down and working the songs really thoroughly with the band and thinking through them and, you know, looking for things that are, Jackson has this philosophy that there's like a right to things. Like, no, that is too slow. And to me, I'm like, well, that's just slower than a faster tempo. And he's like, well, no, it's too slow to feel like this or to do this. And so I got on board with that concept for this record. Okay. And we spent a lot of time trying to make it right for whatever that meant to us when we were doing it. We fiddled with it a lot. We, you know, worked on it a lot. And I'm happy with it. Excellent.
That's good. And you got a couple of sets that are in your band, right?
That's right, the sets. It's unusual to have 2 sets in a band.
It is.
Not every day.
So is it Seth Morrissey on bass and Seth Brown on drums, right?
That's right.
And are they playing on the record as well?
They're playing on the record, and that's also our live band. So
cool.
It was awesome to get to use that energy of you know, people that know how we play live to do the record.
And you mentioned this is your 5th album. You seem to be fairly prolific. I mean, you just had one out last year, and are you always writing? Is there always stuff ready to go?
I'm often writing, you know. Prolific with records is an odd thing because really you only need like 10 or 12 songs. So like always writing as far as output. It's like, can you write 10 songs in a year? Sure, you know, but I try to be writing, if not out loud, then in my head all the time. It's been a challenge here with the quarantine because I do have 4 kids.
Oh man.
And all of their activities are canceled and everyone has been home for however long it's been now. What has it been? 4 months or 5 months or a long time.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been a lot of quiet space. I really like to write in a quiet space. So that's been a little challenging, but I do try to always be mulling on things and working on songs.
Cool. Well, let's talk about a couple of the songs that make up the record. Starting out with the opening track, which is called The Last Cowboy at the Bowling Alley. I love
in parentheses, at the bowling alley.
In parentheses, yes. So it's obviously about a guy who's just been around a little bit too long in one place, I think. What brought that on?
He's been hanging out for a long time there. You know, that's a note that I scribbled in my notebook somewhere. I think we were driving through Texas somewhere. Actually, I saw a picture of Orville Peck. I don't know if you're familiar with the country artist Orville Peck. His name is Orville Peck.
Okay, I'll look it up.
He's an alt country type. He wears this fringe mask all the time. He's a mystery character.
Okay.
He just put out a single with Shania Twain, maybe. He upped his game quite a bit this year. But whatever it was, when I saw this picture, it was a photo of him, and he had his fringy mask, and he was wearing, you know, a rhinestone button-up, and he was bowling in this sort of decrepit-looking bowling alley. And I said to myself out loud, like, that must be the last cowboy at the bowling alley.
Right.
And one of the main things about being a songwriter is you have to know when to write those things down. So I wrote that one down, and, you know, it doesn't really have anything to do with Orville Peck other than that. But I spent a long time thinking about my last cowboy and where he lived and what he did, and settled on a bowling alley in Pioneer Town. There's it's like an old Western, I guess Roy Rogers rolled the first bowl there. So
oh, really? That's pretty.
Pioneer Bowl out there in Pioneer Town, California. And so that's where my last cowboy lives. And he's just still out there bowling.
Nice. Very nice. And then on a Palm Tree Paradise has a very kind of desert feel about it. Is a desert kind of where a lot of these songs are set, do you think?
I think they're out there in the desert, or they're thinking about the desert. We were talking about these songs, and like maybe a lot of these characters live on the same street, you know, like a long road, but they all live there and sort of pass each other by. So out in Palm Tree Paradise definitely has that desert country feel to it.
Right, right. I think my favorite one, especially lyrically, is Tuesday. That's on the record.
It's it. I always like to hear what people's favorites are, because they strike everybody differently.
That's a fact. I mean, there's just something about the imagery that you use, and it's kind of some storytelling going on there. and was it Drinking Like a Sailor and Black Widows in the Backyard? I mean, you can't beat that. So,
I love I think something that some of the best songwriters, my favorite songwriters, Bob Dylan and Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell, they put these different images together in close, you go straight from Drinking Like a Sailor to Black Widows in the Backyard, and that means something different than if it was just one of those,
Right.
The juxtaposition of things.
Yeah. And so who's the Bobby you're calling? And is it Bob Dylan?
Just some fella from a band, I guess. I'll just give him a call. I did have Black Widows in my backyard, though. We had a Black Widow infestation, which was exciting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't like spiders, and
we don't have them here.
Do you not?
No, Australia has tons of
on.
poisonous ones, and we do everything we can to keep them out.
Yeah, I don't care for them at all, but we found one in the backyard, and then we started flipping over because there's all these kid toys in the yard, right?
Yep.
And we started flipping over all the toys, and like each one had its own Black Widow living under it. And
oh man.
It was like a National Geographic horror film.
Yeah, that's big news here in New Zealand. It's like if they find like a dead spider coming in on somebody's baggage in the airport, it's like headline news. I'm serious.
Keep it exciting that way. You're just making me want to move to New Zealand even more.
Oh well, have you been here before? Have you been played out?
I have not. No.
That's
a really long
good Americana, right? Good Americana scene and some excellent artists and whatever.
Is
so
it?
Yep, it's a good place to be for it. Black leather boots and
pink.
Strawberry milk.
Pink leather boots, yes.
Sorry, I can't read my own writing. I'm terrible. I do this constantly. I write it down right and then read it wrong. But yeah, and there's some pretty nice guitar work in that one.
Definitely, yes. Tim, we told Tim just to go on that one, and he did his best, and it's pretty fun.
Right. And so how did these, I assume with your band, you're used to be playing these things out and you haven't been able to in a while, and there's probably nothing happening in the near future. So how are you dealing with that? We've
been able to do some outdoor shows, some local things, wineries and breweries, and it's been pretty hot though. It's summer here, so playing like a 3 to 7 show outside when it's 100 degrees is a little grueling.
Right.
But we're definitely grateful for the opportunity while we have it, because I'm a little worried that come winter time we might not have as many. So we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And one other song I wanted to touch on was "Be Sweet to Me." It's quite the rockabilly kind of rocker, kind of Carl Perkins-y thingy going on there. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, it was. It's a fun one, right? It's the first track on the second side of the record there, and I had this idea about this woman who was trying real hard, but her guy just wasn't nice. But I wanted to keep it lighthearted, and I think we did that with the rockabilly angle on it.
Not a bad way to go. So the album is out at the end of this week, I believe, on Friday. And so you're an old hand at putting out records because it's your 5th one, but it's completely different environment now. So have you thought about how you're going to approach the big event?
Yeah, it's each one's different anyways, but this one's especially different. We have an outdoor show here in Fredericksburg that we'll be able to play on Friday, so we're excited about that.
Right.
And just a handful, but we're not we're not doing any traveling, so just some local stuff coming up. And I think we'll probably try to do an online release event maybe in September. We've had some luck with our online concerts, and that's a great way to reach a broader audience anyway. So hopefully we'll put that together pretty soon. Well, I admire that you all are taking care of your COVID situation responsibly, because we are not. So
I do what we can, but
I hope we can get it under control here. It's just not looking good.
So do I. All right. Well, thank you very much. Good luck with the record, and thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Day? It's day there. Have a good day.